First way to get focus is to find purpose. The way to find purpose is you must identify what it is that you have to be purposeful in. Right when you are struggling with what to do, who you are, what's your next move, you are in an identity crisis. You are struggling with just who you are. See, you have not discovered who you are. You have to discover who you are in order to move you forward.
Yo, what's happening? It's your man Troublemaker, and welcome back to the season finale of Troubversity, episode 20. Okay, so the title of this video is called Purpose. All right, so before we begin, hopefully you guys made it this far. You guys made it to the season finale. I really appreciate you guys. But before we get into the actual content into the video, what I want you guys to do, and you guys already know what I'm getting ready to say, is like the video. Like the video because it actually helps out my channel. If you want to support me, that would be great. But if you want to support me further, there is my Cash App. You don't have to. This is just another option. Also, here's my Instagram if you want to follow me there. And let's continue. Okay, so we're going to talk about what is purpose. We're going to talk about how you can find your purpose, and we're going to read a couple of stories. And I went over these stories, and these stories are actually pretty good. They're inspirational. And also, we're going to watch a video on purpose by Jordan Peterson. All right, so let's begin. So when you talk about purpose, what is purpose? So purpose, the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. So when you talk about purpose, I want you to understand that everything in this world has a purpose. Your pancreas has a purpose. Your lungs have a purpose. The atmosphere has a purpose. Oxygen has a purpose. Plants have a purpose. The sun in the sky has a purpose. Humanity has purpose. And your life has purpose. But you have to find it. And let's go into the next slide. So, how can you find your purpose? So, when you talk about finding your purpose, here's a couple of things. Find people or friends that are passionate and purposeful. Be around them. Cultivate a better perception of yourself and where you think you can go by being around some friends that has goals that they're achieving, and you can see them like, you know what? I'm around these guys that are rich, or I'm around these guys that are purposeful. You know what? I'm going to develop my purpose soon. Number 2, dedicate yourself in everything you do. Be definite. Everything you do, be definite. Always. Weed and seed the things you don't feel passionate about. So when you dedicate yourself, what happens is you're going to find things you don't like and you do like. And when for example, let's say you're passionate about working at Walmart. And while you're working at Walmart for 3 years or 2 years or so, you're going to be like, you know what? I actually don't want to work at Walmart no more. You know, I want to actually have a career, and you might go back to school. Or you might go back to school and you're definite and you dedicate yourself and going back to school, and you're like, you know what? I want to build a business while I'm going back to school. And it keeps leading on. You're weeding and seeding things in your life that you know you do like and you know you don't like, and eventually you will find your purpose. That's another technique. But explore things, explore new jobs, explore many things that could expand your vision and allow you to achieve your purpose. Okay, now it's story time, and hopefully these stories can help you out. Okay, if you guys made it this far, I really appreciate you guys, and let's continue. So let's talk about the first story. The first story is 3 feet from gold. I said 3. 3 feet from gold. Okay, so let's begin. During the gold rush, a man who had been mining in Colorado for several months quit his job, as he hadn't struck gold yet and the work was becoming tiresome. He sold his equipment to another man who resumed mining where it had been left off. The new miner was advised by the engineer that there was gold only 3 feet away from where the first miner stopped digging. The engineer was right, which means the first miner was a mere 3 feet away from striking gold before he quit. So the moral of the story is, when things start to get hard, when it comes to your purpose, okay, and you're on the direction of your purpose, try to persevere through the adversity. Many people give up on following their dreams because the work becomes too difficult, tedious, or tiresome. But often you're closer to the finish line than you may think. And if you push just a little harder, you will succeed. So when it comes to your purpose, and you know you're on the journey of your purpose, and you've been grinding for a long time, always continue to stay focused, be committed, and have conviction in your goals, and your goals will become or come to fruition. It will manifest, it will happen, it will transpire. So now let's talk about the second story. In the 1940s, there was a man who, at the age 65, was living off $99 Social Security checks in a small house and driving a beat-up car. He decided it was time to make a change, so he thought about what he had to offer that other people may benefit from. His mind went to his fried chicken recipe, which his friends and family loved. He left his home state of Kentucky and traveled throughout the country, trying to sell his recipe to restaurants. He even offered the recipe for free, asking for only a small chunk of the money that was earned. However, most of the restaurants declined his offer. In fact, 1,009 restaurants said no to this man. But even after all the rejections, he persisted. He believed in himself and his chicken recipe. When he visited restaurant 1010, he got a yes. His name is Colonial Heartland Sanders. You probably can look that up. So the moral of the story, there are a few lessons that you can take away from this story. First, it's never too late to find success, number one. It's never too late. He did this at 65 years old. Never too late. But you don't want to wait till 65. You want to start now. That's what I'm teaching you guys. Start now. Don't wait till you're 65. Don't wait till you're 50 or 40. Start now. Especially if you are young, listening to this and listening to this information, this is golden for you. In a society that often celebrates young, successful people, it is easy to start to think that you're never going to be successful after a certain age. However, Colonial Sanders is an example that proves that argument wrong. There's a lot of people, not just him, there's a lot of people. This story also demonstrates the power of persistence. You have to have confidence in yourself and believe, and I always teach that, have confidence in yourself and believe in your work for other people to believe it also. Disregard anyone who tells you no and simply move on, only if it is your dream and your passion to continue so. You know this is your purpose. If you know this is your purpose if you know this is your purpose to continue in this direction, you know this is your dream, this is what you always wanted to do, continue, whether it's crump, whether it's any type of dancing, ballerina, whether it's becoming a doctor, whether it's becoming a lawyer, whether it's becoming a rocket scientist, whatever your purpose is and whatever you desire in your heart, continue, know your purpose, be committed, and have confidence in yourself. And it will manifest. It will manifest. It will manifest. You have to keep saying it to yourself. So as I. So now we're going to react to a video of Jordan Peterson on purpose. We're going to react to the whole thing. If you guys made it this far, I really appreciate you guys. So let's go ahead and react to Jordan Peterson, life purpose, direction, and meaning. We're going to react to the whole thing. Also, if you guys want to react to it yourself without hearing me commentate, I have the link in the description of this video. Let's continue.
Okay. Now, this young man told me that his life lacked purpose and direction and meaning, and that he was nihilistic until he read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is a book I actually like quite a bit. I've read it 3 times at different decades of my life. And one of the things that's very interesting about that book is that it's an examination of the idea of quality, of the idea that there are qualitative distinctions between things, and that we have an instinct to make qualitative distinctions. And so a qualitative distinction is simply, this is better than that, which is a judgment. Okay, now what Ratzinger is hypothesizing is that the person in and of, you know how the modern idea is you're supposed to accept yourself. I think that's an insane idea, by the way. Really, I can't think of a more nihilistic idea than that you're already okay. It's like, no, you're not. And the reason you're not is because you could be way more than you are. And so what do you want to be? You want to be okay as you are?
Nice.
Or do you want to strive towards what's better?
What he's talking about is limitations. Limitations. Basically, don't be complacent. Don't be complacent in the specific place that you're currently in right now. Yes, you're probably doing okay, and you're surviving, and you're getting day by day. But you can be better than who you are currently, and that's what he's talking about. Destroy your limitations and achieve in a higher realm, in a higher mind. Achieve in a higher mind. Achieve the best version of yourself. That's what I want to say.
And this young man, this Australian, he said that the reason that Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance had such an impact on him was because he wasn't happy with his current mode of being, right? He didn't consider the manner in which he conducted himself sufficient. And the fact that the author of Zen, and it was Persig, laid out the notion that you could make qualitative distinctions, and there really was a difference between good things and bad things, or great things and evil things. It gives you direction. It gives you the possibility of moving upward. And Ratzinger is pointing out, at least to some degree, that human beings are insufficient in and of themselves and need the movement upward. And so they need to conceptualize something like the highest good, and then to strive for that. And the thing is that there isn't any difference between conceptualizing the good and being judged. Because if you're going to conceptualize the good and move towards it, what you have to do is separate from yourself all those things that aren't good and leave them behind. And that's why the Redeemer and the Judge are the same thing. And one of the things that's really appalling, I think, about our modern world is that we're rejecting the notion of qualitative distinctions. You say, well, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings by saying that one thing is better than another. It's like, okay, fair enough. It's not fun to be cast off with the damned, that's for sure. But if people are, in fact, insufficient in their present condition, which seems to be the case, I mean, try finding someone who isn't, then if you deny the possibility of qualitative distinction because you want to promote a radical egalitarianism, then you remove the possibility of redemption, because there's no movement towards the good. And it seems to me that it's a catastrophe to sacrifice the good for, well, it's a catastrophe to sacrifice the good for the equal. Because for us to be equal would mean, as far as I can tell, that we would all be equally unredeemed and miserable. And so,
he also mentions in the previous paragraph, I believe, that even in the case when you experience the human life at its fullest, at its most beautiful, at its most meaningful, you have a deep, I guess, understanding that you have something to be thankful for. You need to thank somebody for that. It's not based entirely on your own merit. And that points you towards something else. And also,
I don't think that you can have a profoundly positive experience, you know, in the best sense, without that accompanying it. That's a feeling of being blessed. It's something like that.
And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is, how did you guys find your purpose, if you had? Thank you guys for lasting the entire season of Troubversity. If you haven't seen those if you haven't seen the previous videos, go ahead, check those out. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm out.